Page 85 in the grammar book. If you have a post-it note near you or somewhere close by, I want you to tab this page because it's going to be about quotations. So when you label this page, make sure you put the sticky part down and then the part that's loose at the top, write the word quotations there. This is a good page to come back to when you're writing a story that has speaking parts in it, because there are some rules about how to use punctuation and quotation marks and stuff like that. So Grayson and Christian, anybody have post-it notes with you right now or no?
I
No?
didn't we already do this? Like, didn't we?
Oh, do you already have one on there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I couldn't remember if we put one on there yet or not. Okay, awesome. Then forget about that. Quotation marks, capitalization, and end marks. So this is, you already know this. It's when somebody is speaking, a character is speaking. You put quotes around it. We already know that. And then the other part of the sentence is called the attribution. That's the part where you hear the character who's speaking and how they're saying it. So just look at these examples here. The stranger cried, that's the attribution. Obviously, I am not afraid, and that is the quote. But notice the punctuation. There's a comma after cried and then a period inside the quotation mark. Look at the next example. This is showing the quote first and then the attribution. So obviously I am not afraid, comma, quote, the stranger cried. Also notice here we don't need to capitalize that. Okay. After that comma continues on and then the period at the end. And then the other way to do it is having the quote on either side of the attribution right here. So obviously, comma, quote, the stranger cried, comma, I am not afraid, period, quote. So pay attention to where all those little marks are because it's really important for you to get that part right. And the last example is just the quote. You can cross the stream after I do. It's just a quote. And that is when you have maybe two characters arguing or having a conversation and it's a lot of back and forth. Sometimes you can just drop the attribution after a while and then it's a little easier to read. So you've probably read books like that before where there's conversations and you can tell who's they're back and forth, back and forth. Rather than saying he said, she said, he said, she said, he said, she said. It's going to be more just quotes. So on this page, and maybe you already did it, go ahead and with your pen or pencil, just put a box around this part right here with your pen or your pencil. This is giving those rules. These are the rules for punctuation right here in the middle of the page. Just put a box around it. So when you're writing, you can come back to this page. In the book, this book, they're going to just forget the punctuation and the quotation marks on purpose, and you have to figure out where they all go. So that's what your job in this book. Comma at the bottom, there's a comma rule. It's used to separate items in a sentence, but it's also used to separate an attribution from a direct quote. Wherever that is, if the attribution comes first and then the quote, or the quote and then the attribution, there's always a comma between, unless it's an exclamation mark or a question mark. Those two stay. If it's an exclamation mark, if they're yelling, and we're going to see on the practice page, this character is yelling. So we're going to use exclamation mark there. Look at the two examples at the very bottom here. It says, Robin demanded, comma, get off the log. And the quotes go around what Robin said. And then, of course, the capital here. So whenever there's a quote, if it's the beginning of the quote, you're going to treat it like a sentence. It's going to have a capital at the beginning. And then the last example says, you don't scare me. Then there's a comma. The stranger replied. Since the stranger replied, it's just kind of a basic response. But if the stranger yelled, then you would need an exclamation mark there. But since he's just replying, it's going to be a comma. Okay, so let's keep going. I think we did that page, you're right, a while back, but it's good to remember that. Go on to page 86. Indentation. You already know this. When you start a paragraph, you indent. If you're typing it, you're going to hit tab at the beginning of your paragraph. That gives you a bigger space at the beginning. That indicates a new paragraph. But there's reasons why we have new paragraphs. I mean, a lot of times we use our keyword outline, and that's our cue to write a new paragraph. But there's other reasons too when you're writing a story. This is for narrative stories. So this is for like made up fiction stories. Whenever you have a new speaker, I'm right here in this middle part. Whenever you have a new speaker, start a new paragraph when a new character speaks. Include the attribution with the quotation, sentences before or after the quotation that point directly to the quotation can remain in the same paragraph. So you're going to keep that in the same paragraph, but every time you have a new speaker, that's telling you to start a new paragraph. Whenever you have a new topic, that's how we do it. When we write Roman numerals on our keyword outline, those Roman numerals are your topic sentences. So anytime you have a new topic, that's a new paragraph. And then a new place, that's another reason to start a new paragraph. Start a new paragraph when the story switches to a new location. If several switches are made in quick succession, such as a character's journey to find something, it may be less choppy to keep in one paragraph. So if your character is hunting for something or on a journey looking for something, then you can keep it in one paragraph. Otherwise, if it's one place and then it switches to another place, that's an indication you need a new paragraph. A new time, that's the last reason here. Start a new paragraph when the time changes in your story. So in this book, they're going to have you find where you need to start a new paragraph. You're going to use the paragraph symbol. It looks like that. It's kind of a backwards P symbol. And it says or an arrow, but I'd rather you use the paragraph symbol here. So it says, your example here, Robin approached the log. Stand back, cried the stranger. So it sounds to me like maybe the stranger is new on the scene. We have a new person speaking here, and that's why we have the paragraph symbol. And then this is just saying when you rewrite it at the bottom, make sure you have a 1/2 inch space. What I do is usually like either a 2-finger space or just leave a bigger space between the edge of the lines to start the new paragraph, just indent. All right, let's do the practice. Anybody want to read today? Thank you, Grayson. Go for it.
You joke like a fool below, Robin. I could fire this arrow through your heart.
Good. It sounds like some drama coming here. It just escalated. But anyway, bellowed is that word. And it's like a yell. It's like a deep roar, like you joke like a fool, like that, except for in a man's voice, which mine isn't very deep, but yeah. Bellowed is just basically yelling with a loud roar. So we're going to put a check there for vocabulary. We only have one article, so go ahead and just find that. Put your AR on top of that. Nouns, Christian.
Arrow, heart, fool, and Robin.
Good. By the way, really quick, I forgot to tell you this. When you guys sit down to do your homework at home, make sure you read the sentence out loud. Make sure you, even if nobody else is in the room, just read it aloud. And that will help you get these in context, okay? Because some people thought fire was a noun, but if you read the sentence, it's an action, right? He's firing the arrow or he's threatening to fire this arrow through his heart. So make sure you read it. Even if you're by yourself, just whisper it out loud before you start going down the list. Okay, that's going to help you a lot. Okay, pronouns. Zach, where are the pronouns at? Oops, Zach disappeared.
Sorry, I'm kind of having internet problems right now.
Oh, okay.
Joke.
So the pronouns, not joke, that's going to be a verb. So the pronouns are words that take the place of a noun. A lot of times, like it's like he, she, it, but it could also be you or I or we or us, those types of words.
I.
I is one, good.
Your.
Not your in this one, because we got to fix that, by the way, but let's do that in a second. Not your. There's one more, though,
Mm,
at the very beginning.
you.
There you
You.
go. You. So remember, those pronouns take the place of the names of the people talking here. So you and I, they take the place of the names of those characters. So that's what pronouns do. And then adjectives. So before we mark adjectives, though, I'm going to have Grayson help us with this because this says you're like a contraction, like you are heart. That doesn't work there. So how should we spell this, Grayson? If the heart belongs to you, if it's your heart, how do you spell your?
Y-O-U-R.
Yes, good. No apostrophe because that's it. That changes it. So it's Y-O-U-R. Now we have two adjectives, Grayson. Where are the two adjectives? They're going to tell more about the noun. Like if you look at arrow, which arrow is it?
This.
This, yes, that's one.
Like.
No, think about heart. Whose
Who.
whose heart is it?
Your.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times it's right before the noun, although if you look up here, I see why you picked like because it's near fool, but that one's not going to work there. But think about whose or how many or what kind. That's what you ask for the adjectives. Christian, I know you probably know the prepositional phrases, but I'm going to come back to that. Okay, so help me find the verbs next.
Joke.
Yes,
Bellowed
good.
and fire.
And there's one more helping that helps fire.
Could fire.
Could fire. There you go. Good. So just a reminder, whenever it says three subject verb pairs, that means there's three subjects for sure, but sometimes there's more verbs than that. So don't stop at three if you see other verbs in there. And then the subjects that go with that. So Zach, who joked like a fool?
You.
You, that's the subject there. And then go ahead. I, good. There's one more. Who was it that bellowed?
Robin.
There you go. Good. So a lot of times to find that subject, ask who. That's how you find it. Who or what. All right. Now I want to move to the prepositional phrases. So Grayson, do you see where those are? You're going to look for words that don't have a label yet.
Like a fool.
Like a fool, good.
Uh, through your heart.
And through your heart, very good. And then Christian, the main clauses, those have subject verbs pairs. So look for those pairs in there.
You joke.
Keep going.
Bellowed Robin.
You joke like a fool. It's going to include that prepositional phrase there. The only time it doesn't include in prepositional phrase is when that's an opener. Then it doesn't. But you joke like a fool, and the bellowed robin is another one. And then what's the last one?
Through your heart. No, not through your heart. Wait. I could fire. Or no, I could fire this arrow.
Yep. And through your heart, all the way to the end. It's okay to include the prepositional phrase when it's at the end of the main clause. It's telling where he's going to throw this or fire this arrow. Okay, got that. Indent. This is just going to indent at the beginning here because it's all related, right? They're talking, the same person is talking here. So put a paragraph symbol here at the beginning. Capitals, you can find those by yourself. Now, Zach, do you know what part of this is speaking, the speaking part? What part do we need to put the quotations around?
You joke like a fool.
Good. Okay. So I'm gonna have to squeeze them in here. There's a lot going on, but yes, you joke like a fool. What else?
I could fire this arrow through your heart.
Yes, all the way to the end. Very good. So quotes around, I could fire this arrow through your heart. Now, Grayson, we're going to talk about the end marks. This is for the speaking part. So remember, he's bellowing. So what kind of a mark do we need for that?
Exclamation.
Yes, and for both. So right after fool, you joke like a fool, like that. And then after heart. So he's mad, right? He's pretty mad. So we need to make sure we show that expression with an exclamation mark. When you write it later, make sure you put that exclamation mark inside of the quotation mark. The homophone we already got, so we're good there. I think, Zach, for some reason, yours is giving feedback on the Zoom. So can you mute your end? I don't know why it's like echoing. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so when you guys write it down here, make sure you put an exclamation mark and then the quotation mark. All right, that's it for grammar for today. Put that away. Okay. If you guys ever get stuck on anything in grammar, make sure to use your book. Go back and look at those lessons, and that will help you with some of those pages. All right, so let's see, where are we? In our binder. Go ahead and get out your binder. We finished up Captain Cook a couple weeks, but well, yeah, a while back before the break. So in your front pocket should be Captain Cook. We're finished with that. So you can put all of Captain Cook in your finished folder or binder. And then you're going to go to the source text tab in your binder. And get out the next lesson, which is week 10. It's going to look like this. It's called Drone, week 10 Drone. And you're going to get out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages for week 10. It starts on page 89. And you don't need a lined paper today. So you just need those 5 pages from week 10 in your binder. So as soon as you get those out, give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready. Awesome, thank you. Do you know where to find it, Grayson? Okay. Okay, cool. All right, we're talking about writing from pictures this week. I know Christian did this last year when we did a different class last year. Same thing where we're looking at pictures this time, and this is going to be more of a free write. So if you're the kind of person that likes to write made up stories, it's different than when you're writing about something academic like Captain Cook and it's an actual person and it's like a biography and you're writing like that. This is totally, totally, totally different. This is going to be where you can use your imagination. You can come up with character names and situations. So anybody in here like writing made up stories like that, like fiction stories? You guys like that? Kind of, sort of. I struggle with this. I rather write about like academic stuff. That's easier for me. Making up stories is kind of hard, but some people really enjoy that, making up stuff. Because it's more free for all. You can use your own imagination. All right, so we're going to start with the tan page first. This one. This is going to be page 95. It's tan, kind of yellowy tan. We're going to add some more band words here. Wah, wah, wah. We love our band words, right? Just kidding. Okay, these are different than the blue page that we normally keep band words on because the blue page is verbs. This one is adjectives. So we've got two we're going to talk about today. These are not banned because they're bad words. They're banned because they're boring words. And so it's going to challenge you to come up with a better word than these. In the first box, I just want you to write good. You can write it in the middle because it's just going to be good. And the other one's going to be bad. These are adjectives. These describe, maybe they describe the way the food tastes. Maybe they describe the way the day is or how you feel. Good and bad. So these are now banned words on your checklist. You cannot use good or bad anymore in your writing. So help me come up with other words. What can we say instead of good? Anybody have any ideas? Grayson?
Like nice, not like in the nice way, but like it's nice out here.
Yeah, nice will work. Yep. Nice is one.
Awesome.
Yep. I like that one too. Christian, what do you think?
Like fabulous or great.
Yep, both of those will work. Fabulous. Great. Zach, can you think of any?
Wonderful.
Yes, good one. Nice, awesome, fabulous, great, wonderful, terrific is one. Amazing. That's pretty good. We can stop there. And when you're writing and if you need a word other than good and you don't like any of these, you can always go to a thesaurus if you have one of those at home. If not, ask your parents. You can Google. You can say, what's another word for good? And then you'll have a giant list of words for that. So um, check with your parents before you Google. But if you want to get a list and print it and put it up on your wall, you can definitely do that too. All right, let's talk about bad for a second. Another word for bad.
I've got 3.
What do you got?
Horrible, terrible, disgusting.
Ooh, I like it. Horrible, terrible, and disgusting. It's a good start. Anybody else?
Awful.
Yep, that's a good one. Awful. I know we don't use this one very often, but I kind of like lousy. Did you think of one too, Grayson?
Like stinks, not in the smell, but
Oh,
stinks like
stinks.
bad.
Yeah. That's more of like a slang word, but you can use that. And because these are for like when you're writing about fictional stories. Can we think of one more? How about miserable is a good one. miserable. That's a pretty good list for bad. Okay, so you're going to keep this list with your stuff in this lesson, but eventually we're going to put it away in our binder with the banned words. But for now, we're just going to keep it with our drone stuff. Okay, so now let's look at the yellow page next. This one. Did you guys get all those words? Give me a thumbs up if you wrote them all down. You got it? Okay, good. Okay, so the yellow page, this is page 91. This is kind of an overview of this lesson that we're going to go into this week. And these are not the pictures you're going to write about. These are just examples. But I wanted to show you how it's set up here. And by the way, when we look at the one we're going to do this week, the keyword outline is already laid out for you. You just have to fill it in, which is what we're going to talk about. But I want to talk to you a minute about thinking. Okay, I know it's weird, but a lot of teachers don't talk about how you think. And it's really important for you to understand how you think. So let's pretend for a second, or maybe this could be real, that you're hungry. I'm kind of hungry right now. Even though I ate breakfast, I'm starting to feel like I'm ready for lunch pretty soon. But if you're hungry and your stomach's growling, your body, your mind automatically starts asking questions. It starts asking questions like, what do I want to eat? And where is the pizza we had last night? And when is this class going to be over so I can go eat, right? These things happen naturally inside your head. Nobody else can hear it. Only you hear these thoughts, right? But asking questions is a big part of what makes us think. Even if you see something on the news and maybe you don't really know why they're saying it the way they are on the news, you might ask yourself, why did they say that? Where did they find that? How do they know that's real, right? Because a lot of stuff on the news, you guys are old enough to understand, some of the stuff on the news is not real. Some of it is real. And so it's hard to know. You have to use your brain and ask yourself these questions in order to determine if it's real or not. So it's true for writing too. Whenever you're writing about a picture, you're going to use these questions here to help you come up with a plot. So looking at these pictures like the first one, by the way, each picture represents a paragraph. So this picture goes with this keyword outline that you'll use for Roman numeral 1. This one would be for Roman numeral 2. This one for Roman numeral 3. So these would represent 3 different paragraphs. And in the first one, we can see what is in the picture. There's a question word, what? It's a bird. It looks like a crow and a hose in a backyard with some grass. And maybe that's the house there. So when we talk about that central fact, you can see that right next to Roman numeral 1 here and next to Roman numeral 2 and 3. The central fact means what is literally in the picture. That's where you start. Look at the picture. What do you see? We see a bird, we see a hose, we see grass, or maybe outside. He's outside. So then for these details here, 1 through 4, these details are what you're going to do with these questions. You're going to kind of move around with these questions. Who is this bird? Does the bird have a name? And where is it? And why does it want to peck at the hose? Is it hungry? And then you can see these down below here, before, after, and outside. That means what happened before this picture? We don't know. We don't have one up here, but you can make it up. Like, what happened before that? Or down here at the bottom, what happened after this last one? We don't know. You can make it up. And then that word outside, it doesn't mean outdoors. It means what could possibly be on the outside of the frame of the picture? Could it be there's a cat right here outside of the picture? Or maybe a guy that lives at that house that doesn't want the crow messing with his hose, and he's got a big old shovel and he's going to try to whack the bird. I mean, this is where you can use your imagination to make up stories here. Okay. I wanted to show you this first And anybody have any questions about what we just talked about here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's go on to the actual pictures you're going to use this week. And that's going to be on page 93. Go to page 93. Page 93, you're going to see 3 pictures here. This is what you're going to use to create a story. And let me just remind you again, the first picture is going to be all about paragraph 1 only. The second picture is going to be only for paragraph 2. The third picture is only paragraph 3. And you remember when we did the story sequence chart, we had 3 boxes we worked with, and we talked about the characters and setting, and we talked about the problem, the conflict and the problem. And then the last one, we talked about the climax and resolution. It's similar to that, but you've got pictures that you're working with. So before we get started, though, I'm going to have you write down the question words at the top of your page, the very top here. So just as a reminder. So the big 6 is what we call them. The big 6 is who, what, where, why, and how. Wait, that's only 5. Who, what, where, why, when, and how. So let's write these up here. Who, what, where, when, why, how. If you need to use another space right below that, that's okay too. Just wherever you can fit it at the very top of your page. Just so when you sit down to do your homework and you're working on a story, use these questions to help you come up with a plot. It will help you a lot. And then there's a couple extra ones that we did talk about. So underneath that, if you have space right there, let's just put before, question mark, after, question mark, and outside. And that just means what is outside of the frame of the picture. Like, for instance, this picture, maybe he is at school in a classroom and all the students and the teacher are outside of the frame of this picture. Or it could be that he's at home. We kind of get that idea later, but maybe the whole family's together. Maybe it's a big surprise for him. Maybe it's his birthday and there's balloons and streamers and things outside of the frame of the picture. Okay, so that's what that means outside. And you can even think about things that are invisible. Maybe you don't see them in this picture, but maybe you can create something that's happening that we don't see in the picture. So that's what I mean by this is like super open, creative style writing. This is creative writing. Okay. All right, let's get started on this. So another thing I want to tell you is that we're going to brainstorm together in class today, but yours doesn't have to match mine. We're going to take turns coming up with ideas. So you put what you want though, okay? You don't have to copy what I'm writing. We're going to brainstorm together. So the central fact is the first step. This is a Roman numeral 1. We've got central fact here. So Grayson, remember central fact is what is literally happening in the picture. What do you see in the picture? So go ahead and tell us, looking at the first picture, what's in this picture? What do you see?
It looks like he's opening a gift,
Okay,
and there's a drone in it, maybe. Right?
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it's his birthday or something. A little surprise.
Good. So,
That's all I have.
okay. You're right. Well, first, with the central fact's pretty easy because we see a boy. It looks like a boy to me too. So it looks like a boy, and he's opening a box, and he is looking like he's excited. So we can start there, and we can start with a name for the boy. So what do you think, Grayson? And you guys can all make up different names for this boy, but what do you think his name is?
Joe.
Joe. I love it. If you guys have a different name, then use a different name, whatever name you want to give him. Joe, and he opened a box. That's what I put, but if you guys want to put something different, remember, you can. This is where we're going to kind of just brainstorm together. I'm also going to give you an option later after we're done with class when you go to sit down to write this. If you come up with something different in the meantime, like completely different than what we talk about, then you don't have to use your keyword outline. You can just create whatever is on your mind. But for class, I do want you to write some notes here. Okay. But if you change your mind later and you want to just create your own, that's okay. So now we've got the central fact. Now we can come up with some details. This is what we do with these question words. Like we kind of already answered who. Who is this guy? It's Joe, according to Grayson. Could be something else for you guys. And he's opening a box. Let's ask Christian, what do you think he's thinking here? What is he thinking?
He's happy he got a drone because he doesn't have like enough money to buy one.
Okay. I think we want to hold off on introducing the drone. We'll try to mention that later. So just looking at this box, I know you know it's a drone because you can see the remote here. Plus the name of the lesson is drone. But let's pretend this is all we got right here. This is all we know is he's looking in the box. But he is excited. I think I like that word. Or I think you said happy. You can use happy. And you think he wanted a drone? Or what are some things that maybe he wanted for a present?
Well, he wanted a drone, otherwise he wouldn't be that happy.
Okay,
Excited.
true. Well, let me back up for a second. Do you think it's his birthday? Is it Christmas? Is it just because? Why is he getting this gift?
It's his birthday.
Okay.
Because everyone else is in the house without gifts. Well, I mean, maybe the little kid.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what it looks like. I agree with you. So this is his birthday, and I'm going to put gift here. But you guys if you're ready to start talking about the drone, you can. This is, like I said, free write, basically. But before we know it's a drone, I'm just going to add this just for something to write about in that first paragraph. But Zach, what do you think? And you can make this up, seriously. This is like totally made up, so there's no wrong answer here, okay? Pretend we don't know it's a drone. What is something that maybe this guy, Joe, would want for his birthday? What are some other gift ideas that he might have wanted or hoped for?
RC car.
Okay, RC car. I'm going to put RC car question mark. Like he's thinking, is this a car? What else would he want possibly?
Probably, maybe Pokemon cards.
Yeah, okay. I like it. Pokemon cards. You could put like Xbox or I don't know, what are all the game consoles right now? You could maybe he's wondering what it is. You know how sometimes when you
PS5?
say it again?
PS5.
Oh, PS5. There you go. You could add that because that's not really a word. It's a good one. You know how when you get gifts, sometimes it's wrapped in tissue? Like you open the outside and then you open the box and there's like tissue and you're like, what's in there? And you got to keep going, right? Maybe that's what's happening. He's excited, but he doesn't know what it is yet. He's still undoing it all. All right. But then for number 3, I think we can go into Grayson that he does get the drone, right? If you want it to be a drone, but it doesn't have to be a drone. It could be a RC airplane. Obviously, we know he's looking up, so we're going to guess it's flying. Could be a airplane, a helicopter. It could be a drone. It could be a fancy drone that has a camera on it. Or what do you think it actually is, Grayson?
I think it's a drone by what it's saying, but maybe a fancy drone. I like the fancy drone idea.
Fancy drone. Do you guys know any drone names? Because I don't.
Not that into drones.
I can search
Me
it up
either.
real quick.
Oh yeah, you could if you want. You could do that. Like I don't know what they're called. I'm sure Elon Musk has drones that he's made, the fancy ones. I'm thinking like a spy drone, even though those are illegal, especially in California. I don't think you can spy on anybody really, but you can make this up. It's a made up story, so it could be a spy drone or camera drone. Let us know what you find, Zach. We'll put that in there.
And there's
So,
the U.S. Army drones. I think were the Gray Hawk and
ooh,
there's Gray Hawk and oh no, it's Global Hawk and Gray Eagle.
okay. What did you find, Zach?
There's something called a Neo drone.
Wait, say it again.
It's a Neo drone,
A Neo drone.
$225.
So if you want to put the military one, you can, Christian. I'm going to put Neo drone. Um, and maybe we could give it a color like black. I'm just making this up. Like I said, you can totally change this when you guys go to write your story. So he might be
It was
shocked.
white on the picture.
What's that?
It was white on the picture. So I
Oh,
don't know.
white. White makes more sense than black. I'm going to change that. I think most of them are white. It kind of blends in with the sky a little bit better, not as noticeable. Um, maybe we could put expensive. And maybe he's shocked that he got it because he's like, whoa, I actually got what I wanted? No way. And I'm only going to put 2 words on that one. But if you guys have other ones, okay, so notice how everything in that first paragraph is literally only about this first picture. That's what I want you to remember from this, especially to keep everything with that picture. Okay, so now we can move on to the second picture, this Roman numeral 2 here. So Christian, let's talk about the central fact first. What do you see that's literally inside the picture?
Well, I see he's flying the drone,
Yeah,
and everyone's looking at him through the window.
who's in the window? Who are these people?
I'd say his family.
Okay. So maybe family watching, or maybe I'll do some eyeballs for watching. Window, drone, something like that. Okay, whatever you want to put though. I put family, these are eyes watching through the window. You're watching Joe or whoever your character's name is fly this drone. So let's talk for a minute, Zach, about what is everybody thinking? Look at their expressions. What do you think they're thinking?
They probably think it's cool.
Yeah. Think cool. And fun, maybe that's another good word you could put there. They're thinking it's cool and fun. Is thinking a banned word? I gotta check really quick.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So you're gonna have to think of something different than think.
Wait,
Is it? Look.
why do we only do 4 on the top?
Yeah, I couldn't think of a 5, but if you can think of something else, 5 is optional. But if you want to add something there, you can.
Okay, I'm not writing that much.
I knew that. I knew you'd be like, yay, I don't have to do it. Yeah, so I put think here. It's okay to use a banned word in your outline, but don't use it when you go to write. Make sure you think of something different than that. Like what would be another way to say that rather than think? They're pondering. They're pondering how cool it is to fly that drone. You have one, Grayson?
Realizing.
Oh, that's a good one. That's better. Realizing how cool and fun. I'm just jotting down notes here. Okay, so we got that. What else could we say? What is he doing with the drone, Grayson? Is he just flying it around or is he doing tricks with it maybe? Like,
He's making it do backflips.
ooh, backflips. Okay. Um, we could put backflips, I guess. Backflips. And maybe like rolls. Rolls. I'm going to put tricks here. So he just opened this thing. I don't know if he knows how to fly it yet, but he's just going right into doing tricks. And we know already what the third picture is, so we can probably build up to that. Something's not good, and we don't know what, so we're going to come to that in a second. But right now he's doing flips and stuff. Um, maybe he's doing like dives, and he's flying high up in the sky. Oh, let's see. What else could you say about how he's flying, Christian?
Well, I put 999 million miles per hour up and down and doing flips.
999. Man, I don't think we'd see it if it was going that fast.
Yeah, that's the point of a spy drone.
And flips, more flips. Okay. Let's think for a second about like what is he? I know he's outside. Everybody else is inside. Is he flying over his neighbor's house or does he live across the street from like the Dodger Stadium or does he live across the street from Disneyland or we could make this up, we could be wild and crazy. Where does this guy live and what is he flying over? Anybody have any ideas on that? He's flying over something. Maybe it's the Saints Stadium. No, maybe it's over the Super Bowl stadium, wherever that is.
That's the Saints Stadium.
Maybe it's over the
Oh.
Statue of Liberty.
Ah, over the Statue of Liberty. I like that one. Or over the White House. Probably get shot down. Maybe that's what happened here. He flew over the White House and somebody shot it down. So wherever you want to put here, I'm going to put fly over, and then you decide. You decide what he's flying over. Grayson?
When we say Statue of Liberty for one,
Yeah, you could because it's the name of that statue. I would count that as one. I'm going to skip 5. I don't need 5, so it's okay to just do 4. Now we're getting to the last one. So Zach, what do you think? Just the central fact first. What is literally in this picture?
Tommy crashes the drone.
Ooh, okay. So we don't know that yet, but look at their faces. How can we start with the central fact here?
He loses control.
Okay. Loses control, maybe he's worried. So this guy's name is Joe in this story, but Tommy is good too. Worried. Um, uh-oh. I'm just gonna put uh-oh. And then you said crashes? He crashes it? Is that what you said? Okay. So we can put he crashes it, crashes, drone. What does he crash into?
The Statue of Liberty because he's doing
Okay.
tricks from.
Okay. I'm going to put Statue of Liberty. I'm going to write it like that because I don't have much room. Oh, I put drown. I mean drone. D-R-O-N-E. There we go. Crashes drone on the Statue of Liberty, or it gets shot down by the military, or somebody throws a rock at it. Or one thought I had was if it's at the Dodger, if he's flying over the Dodger Stadium, maybe they hit a fly ball and the fly ball just happens to hit the drone right in the air. It crashes onto the field. Like I said, you guys can get creative with this. You probably already noticed we've been using these questions without even looking at them, but this is going to help you a lot at the top. So if you ever get stuck on what to do next, look at those questions. All right, so what do you think, Christian? So he crashes it, or what is your story about what happened to the drone in your story?
Well, I said it flew around Mount Everest and then crashed into the White House and then blew up the White House.
Oh, no, no, no. We don't need to blow up the White House. Let's not go
That's
there.
the third time.
All right, I guess it's made up, but
Third time in history.
don't let Siri hear you say blow up the White House. Just saying. I'm just saying, all right?
I don't think my computer has Siri.
Oh, good. Well, it has a microphone, so who knows, right? Who knows these days? No, you're fine. Yeah. So yeah, okay. If you want it to go that drastic and tragic, just keep out the gore. We don't need any gore in here, but maybe he thinks he's going to get in trouble, right? Maybe I'll put trouble. Oops. Trouble from the police or government. I'm putting that. You guys can put whatever you're thinking here. And the family is, look at Dad. Dad's got this face like, ooh, that's going to be expensive. Dad, worried, expensive. And so the way you end this story is up to you. It can end tragically, or it can end happily. You guys get to decide how this thing ends. Okay, let me just remind you one more time. You can use the notes we made today to help you if you want. But if you, like, let's say you sit down on Saturday and you start writing this story, or even Monday next week, if you, in the meantime, come up with a better plot, you don't have to use this, okay? The only rule that you have to follow is each picture represents a paragraph. So try not to include stuff that's happening down here up here. Just keep it to this picture for paragraph 1. Keep it to this one for paragraph 2. Keep it to that one for paragraph 3. That's the only main rule. And then, of course, the checklist. So let's look at the checklist really quick. And we have some new band words on there. And just a reminder about this checklist, this is how I grade your homework. This is where you get your 10 points. And your goal every week is to get 10. So if you get 9, that means you need to fix something. Or if you get 8 or 7 or something like that, you need to fix something and turn it back in. So your goal is 10 every week. And here's your list. Everything's pretty much the same on top. Don't forget about the topic clincher. Some of you forget that. That's where you highlight or bold 2 or 3 key words in the first sentence and the last sentence of every paragraph. Okay? Those words have to match up in every paragraph. And then you've got your dress ups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to have 5 words underlined in each paragraph. ly adverb, who, which, strong verb, because clause, and quality adjective. And then the band words. That list is getting longer. So watch out for words like think, thought, because we accidentally used it. Well, it's okay, like I said, in your keyword outline to use it, but don't use it when you're writing. Seesaw, that might be hard because he's looking at the drone. So don't use saw. If you have any speaking parts in here, you can add speaking parts. Don't use said. And you won't worry about eat ate because nobody's eating in this story, but go went and good bad. So watch out for those words. Don't use them or I take off points if I see those in there. So think of better words or different words to use. All right, so your homework is the 3 paragraphs about the drone. Have fun with it. You can use your imagination. Still 3 paragraphs. Any questions about what you're doing this week? Nope. All right, that's it. Good job, you guys. Keep all this in your front pocket of your binder.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.